Hi, welcome to Saturday Kitchen. This programme has been recorded so you can enjoy it at a time that suits you. This means that our phone lines are now closed, so don't call us as you may be charged. Enjoy the show. Good morning. We've got 90 minutes of sizzling hot world-class recipes coming right up, so let's get cooking. This is Saturday Kitchen Live. And welcome to the show. With me in the studio are two chefs with two very different culinary styles. First, it's one half of those incredible spice men and the man behind the award-winning Indian restaurant, Kavis Spice Namaste. It's my co-presenter.
Thank you very much, sir, for the compliment.
It's Cyrus Todiwala. We'll get to that later. Next to him is a man at the helm of the innovative 24-hour duck and waffle restaurant, which sits on the top of the Heron Tower in London. It's Dan Doherty. Great to have the show, you two.
Thank you.
So, Cyrus, what are you going to be cooking then? What are you going to be doing?
Well, I'm actually, it's early morning, so it's breakfast time.
Breakfast time?
I'm going to make a super bread roll stuffed with hot chorizo and cheese. And along with that, we're going to do some spiced baked beans. So it looks really nice and filling and good for a Saturday morning.
Now, we're going to use one of the ingredients that's one of the finalists in the
Food and Farming, BBC's Food and Farming Awards.
Yeah.
And we're using the seaweed from a little company called Mara up in Scotland. Okay. And I'm using a seaweed called Dulse, which has been smoked. It's fantastic, and that I'm going to add to the dough.
That's what we're going to be doing. So, Dan, what are you going to be doing then?
So, I'm moving on to lunch, I guess. So, I'm going to do fennel sausage meatballs with homemade ricotta, toasted pine nuts, and a nice, rich, buttery fennel gravy. So, sort of bring it all together. So,
and you're going to make your own cheese as well?
Yeah, we're going to do it. Within 10 minutes, we can make ricotta. It's so easy to make, and it's tasty. So.
Sounds pretty good to me. So, there you go. Two very tasty sounding dishes to look forward to. And also, we've got a fantastic lineup of foodie films from the BBC's archive as well. Today, we've got sermons from Mr. Rick Stein, the fabulous Tom Kerridge. Now, Nigella Lawson is back, and of course, those two greedy Italians, Gennaro Contaldo and Antonio Carluccio. Now, our special guest is one of the most recognisable voices in pop music. Her career has spanned an incredible 5 decades. This week, she released her 22nd album, and we're very excited to have her with us this morning. Please welcome to Saturday Kitchen the incredible Lulu! Great to have in the show. Fantastic to have in the show. So, congratulations. 22 albums.
Yeah, I think this is... Well, this one has got the best reviews of any of them, which is kind of great at this point in my life.
Well, it's great for you because I was reading about it last night. You've actually penned this yourself.
This is the first album also. I've written all the songs with my brother and a couple of other writers. So it's a whole... It's like I'm back with my original recording company, Decca, that signed me when I was 15. So it's like they've rebooted my career in my 60s.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to chat to it about it a little later on. But now, of course, at the end of today's programme, either cook food heaven or food hell for Lulu. It's up to our studio guests, our chefs over there, and some of our viewers to decide what you'll be eating at the end of the show. So, of everything you could pick, what would it be? Food heaven.
Breakfast is my favourite. I can have breakfast 3 times a day. Okay. You know, different breakfast, not the same one.
All right.
But, of course, being Scottish smoked salmon.
Sounds pretty
good. And I
good.
love that they talked about seaweed, Scottish seaweed.
Yeah.
That sounds great.
Okay.
Yeah, breakfast...
I'll probably put a little bit of that on maybe later on. So what about the dreaded food hell, then?
Well, my father worked in the meat market. So all my childhood, we got a lot of... He was an awful dresser. And I don't mean his clothes weren't nice,
okay.
but he was called an awful dresser.
Right, okay.
And so we had a lot of tripe, we had kidneys, and even pig's trotters. And
it's lovely.
No.
Anyway. Well,
not for me. Not anymore. I had my fill when I was young.
Oh, there you go. Well, you never know. It's either smoked salmon or offal for food heaven. I'm going to use smoked salmon, of course, to make a luxurious breakfast. The salmon is added to a classic waffle batter along with some chopped chives, and it's cooked and served on a bed of wilted spinach and watercress. It comes with a little pan-fried black pudding on the top, together with some smoked salmon, a poached egg, and a classic hollandaise sauce to go over the top of that. So it's very good, but instead, the waffle, it could be offal. Well, I don't know. There you go. I thought that was really good in rehearsal.
Yeah,
I could be using Lulu's food hell. Kidney, to make a lot of people's food heaven. A classic steak and kidney pie. The pie is filled with stewed steak, mushrooms, shallots, ale, beef stock, along with some kidney, and plenty of herbs, and topped off with puff paste and served with mashed potato and a few peas. Yeah, you see?
I don't know.
I know you don't like mushrooms as well.
There you go. Mushrooms I'm not crazy for either.
That's why I stick everything in a pie. You have to wait to the end of the show to find out which one she's going to get. Now, if you'd like to ask a question for any of our chefs today, You can do that by calling this number. That's 0330 123 1410. That's 0330 123 1410. And a few of you to put your questions to us live a little later on. And of course, if I do get to speak to you, then we're asking you whether you want Lulu to face food heaven or food hell. A tricky one today.
Please don't make me do the hell.
I think it's going to be smoked salmon. I think it's a nice dish, that in rehearsal. You can also get involved on the show through our social media now. Send us your comments and questions by using hashtag #SaturdayKitchen. Right, you hungry?
Always.
Breakfast on the menu over here, as let's get cooking. And first up is the Professor of Spice. It's Cyrus Todiwala. Right, what have we got on the menu then, Chef?
Well, we have got hot chorizo,
Yep.
bit of paprika, of course coriander.
Yep.
We got two kinds of cheeses. These are Portuguese cheeses.
Right.
And onions, etc. So that's going to be cooked.
This is for our bread, basically.
This is for our bread. And that's for the beans, so you're going to help me do that, my dear sir.
And
Of
you
course,
want-
I put some extra butter for you. So, garlic chili.
You want me to get that on as well, so...
You get it on.
Now-
Now, what here is,
Yeah.
these are our three finalists
Yep.
for this year's award. So, we've got Doddington Dairy up in Northamptonshire.
Yeah.
And we've got the Mara Seaweed I spoke about.
Yeah.
And we've got this amazing bakery in East London called E5.
Right.
He's making waves. He's become the master of sourdough.
But this awards, you can, as a producer, you don't pay to be involved in it. It's people nominate you.
You have to be
Your
nominated.
customers nominate you, basically.
Yes, not customers, people who have bought from you, friends,
Yeah.
whoever feel that you're doing an amazing job,
Yeah.
would nominate you for this, because I think it's one of the best awards in the country, really, because it recognizes the great produce that Britain is so famous for these days.
Right, so we're starting off, this is the filling for the bread.
This is the filling for the
we'll get
bread.
on in a minute, but...
So very quickly, I'm going to chop these chorizos up. I've skinned them already, just
Yeah.
to save some time.
Okay.
And what you need to do is to start them on a slow pan, not very hot.
Yeah.
Just so they start releasing their fat. And as soon as they start releasing their fat, then I'm going to put the chopped onions and all into them.
So although you're using sort of Portuguese ingredients, is this based on a classic Indian dish then?
Well, it's based, the Portuguese brought bread to India and we still say pau in India as well.
Yeah.
So wherever the Portuguese heritage remained, which is Bombay and Goa, for instance, we use the word pau, and pau is very much part and parcel of the Bombay Wallas and the Goan diet, because we just simply can't do anything without it. So we just start with that. And thanks to the Portuguese. Of course, the old-fashioned bread, as you may or may not be aware, James, is made with toddy.
Yeah.
Fresh toddy. That's where my family name comes from.
You just put a little bit... What is this you put
I
in there?
put a little bit of paprika inside.
Because the chorizo that you're using, is it the soft one you've got to use for this?
Yes, the soft one is much nicer because it's got a bit more fat in it.
Right.
And it just has that amazing flavor that will come into the bread when we finish with it. So
Now, this is going to be the filling for the bread. This is the baked bean bit that we do.
this is the baked bean bit. That's the accompaniment for the bread. I love beans. I think they're great.
So
And
lots of onions, garlic.
Lots of onion, garlic, some chili, cumin.
And you put the cumin there in seed in...
You can put the
with the
cumin in
onions.
with that because it's just
Okay.
roasted and lightly crushed, so it gives a
Okay.
lovely flavor.
All right. Now, you're chair of this judging panel, are you?
Yeah, funnily, I'm the chair of the BBC's Food and Farming Judging. And it's been a very, very interesting session, actually. Very
Yeah.
interesting. And we have some amazing entries this year from all categories. So from food, from drink, from all sorts of different divisions, farmers. It's just fabulous, I think. In a couple of weeks' time, we have the finals up in Bristol, so it's going to be very interesting.
Okay.
You coming up?
I will... yeah, I might do. But I didn't get the invite, you see. Don't get the invite, you see.
BBC, anybody listening?
Don't get the invite. you
Radio
know.
4 team?
Yeah. Right, so we've got chopped chilies.
Yes, sir.
You've got to have this quite spicy, you want it then?
I like it spicy because I think we have... what I've got here now are the ingredients for the bread dough. So we've got some semolina, flour, water, of course, yeast, and the seaweed. That's right here. So I've put seaweed right into the...
Now, Lulu, a little birdie tells me you're big into your Indian cooking.
I am. I'm into food and I'm into... but I've been to India, I've been going to India since 1984. And the Indian food in India, when you go there, especially if you come from Glasgow, because in Glasgow, when I was a kid and you had Indian food, it would be so hot, you were crying and your nose was running. It was lovely. But you go to India, it's much milder. It's different.
Yes. We don't eat chilies as the British think we do, actually.
Yes, yes. It's sort of, there's a British Indian cooking, and then there's the Indian cooking.
Well, it's like tikka masala. We mentioned that.
Yeah, we mentioned that earlier.
Yeah.
It's something that was invented right here, sir.
Right.
I think it was invented in Birmingham, wasn't it?
Something like that.
Yeah,
Right, so
Birmingham lays its
is that
steak.
enough for this cheese, or do you want more? You want more of
No,
that?
I think that is fine.
You want more? So what cheeses I've got in here, then? Which is
Well,
this
you
one?
got what you're grating right now is a cheese called Sanjiao.
Yeah.
And the other one, I keep forgetting all the time. It's got a Selling. I keep
Nisa.
Nisa.
That's the one.
Nisa.
I've been told in my ear. You're used to people telling things in your ear, which I am.
Not till the earplug falls off, yeah?
Tell us, because you stood it. He stood in. Kindly stood in for me about 4 weeks ago.
Yeah, we
about
did.
6
we
weeks
did.
ago.
Oh, I missed that one.
With my dear friend, Mr. Tony Singh.
And the earpiece got stuck in your ear.
No, one got stuck in my ear, but his got stuck in his turban. Yeah? And he couldn't hear a word that Surya was telling him. And they were telling me to interrupt all the time.
Right.
And tell Tony he's running out of time. How can I tell Tony? He's on a rant. Tony's on a rant.
Yeah. So
And,
you enjoyed it then?
I did enjoy it, but I tell you something, it's pretty daunting, especially when this morning the newsreader is telling you, still talking to the viewers, and at the same time you're getting a countdown. That is confusing. Hats off to you, sir.
Yeah, I bet. Can you imagine?
I don't know about that.
I'd love to do it again. I mean,
As it is without someone.
wouldn't mind doing it, but not with Mr. Singh and as well.
The
Because
secret is you would just ignore the person telling me 2 minutes just now in my ear.
yeah.
See?
Is it?
Yeah.
2 minutes already? Gosh. Anyway, what you got to do here, sir, is allow the dough to come up again after we make a few dough balls. Butter them lightly.
Yeah. He's
then
also
put them
telling
in-
me that the dairy's in Northumberland.
The Northumberland. Is it? Northumberland?
Yes, it is. Yes.
I'm bad news. I'm bad news. How did they ever make me a judge on the program? I don't know. I'm bad.
Right. So
I'm
right,
sorry. If you're watching, I'm sorry.
Right. What have you done in here?
Okay. So what I've done here, I've mixed the cheese into the sausage.
Yeah.
And what we have got now is the cheese and the sausage mixture filled into 2 rolls here. Of course, I would do them all. And then let them prove again a little bit.
Okay.
Then just brush them with butter.
Yeah.
And in a hot oven. The Portuguese always like to start on a very hot oven and then bring it down.
Okay.
So you've got a nice stretchy texture.
Okay, well, you're getting those in the oven. Remember, if you'd like to put your questions to either of our chefs today, you can do that by calling us now on this number. That's 033 0123 1410, 033 0123 1410. Remember, calls it charge at your standard network rate. Right, so where does the seaweed go in?
The seaweed has gone into the dough, sir. When we made the dough, we put the seaweed right into the dough. And seaweed is becoming one of these big things now because it's a great supplement for iodine. And they say that it has a huge impact on people suffering from thyroid problems.
Yeah.
So it's a natural ingredient for people who suffer from thyroid problems. At the same time, it's got this umami. Umami, the 5th sense that we chefs love to speak about all the time.
Right, there's your beans. So the beans have got finished off with coriander, you've got cumin, that
Perfect,
kind of
sir.
stuff in there.
Beautiful.
So the beans have gone in, finished off. I always like them with a little bit of butter in there as well, but
Yes, you can put a few blobs on top if you like. It's
yeah.
butter eating time. Look at that bread. Just do that.
That looks pretty good to me.
Nice and
That looks
piping.
pretty good, doesn't it?
Smashing.
But
Nice,
the key to it is the soft chorizo, because if you get the firm
Yes.
one, it's just going to dry out the bread as
It's
well.
going to be dry inside. So the key is the soft chorizo. Chorizo. The Portuguese don't say chorizo. Our chorizo.
Right. So pop that in
we
there.
go, so I'll put it
give us
just
the name
like
of this dish then?
Now, you want the Portuguese name?
Any name.
That's feijão,
Beans on toast.
picante com coriander, and that is pão com chorizo e queijo, cheese. So there's bread stuffed with chorizo and cheese, and that's spiced baked beans.
That last 20 seconds, I've got no idea what you were talking about. But anyway, there you go. And you can bring this over.
Thank you very much, sir.
You get to dive into this, Lulu. Dive in.
Smells good.
We actually do a version of this in England. So
Here's your smaller
You do it? Yeah.
sized breakfast.
yes, beans on toast.
Beans on toast. Give them a shot, yeah. Beans on toast.
Wow.
Fancy beans on toast.
That's
at that.
really unusual.
Yeah, I love the bread that you've got this layered in there as